And the whole point also about Allowed to Ask is to encourage not only, girls my age to open up to their parents, but also teenagers, and also encourage parents and adults to talk to their kids about things that they might feel uncomfortable bringing up.
Welcome back to another episode of First Rounds on Me. I'm Hannah Femalella, and myself and my husband Joe are here to unpack the wonders and the horrors of the dating world. As a reminder, we release our episodes every Monday morning so we can keep you company on your way to work. Today we have the most dynamic duo joining us, the newest members of the First Rounds on Media family, Dani and Janice, of the Allowed to Ask podcast. We're going to get the scoop on what inspired them to share their wild, hilarious, and intriguing thoughts with the world, all while getting a very unique double perspective on dating and relationships, and of course playing a few games along the way. Dani and Janice, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
And we could not be more excited. First people under our First Rounds on Media umbrella, which is just wild. So I think for the people who don't know who you are, which you will very shortly, can you let us know a little bit about yourself? Like, where are you from? Obviously, mother and daughter.
Yes.
You can go first.
Okay. I live in Westchester. I have 2 kids, but I'm not allowed to talk about my son, so we won't.
Is that a rule for allowed to ask?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even though we
That's
talk
like
about
a
him
thing.
all the time, but every time we talk about him, we're like,
Doesn't want it?
No,
No.
he doesn't want it. Married for a long time, 32
Happily?
years. Happily married, live in the suburbs, got great friends, got a great life, and I have an amazing daughter.
Yes,
So,
you do. We can attest to that. Fully. 33 years married. That's so wonderful. That's something that we could only really hope for, isn't it, darling?
Yeah, I mean, you could hope, I guess.
Shots fired so early in the podcast.
so
All
early
right.
on.
Danny, how about yourself, Danny?
So my name is Dani. You guys obviously know me. I'm 27. I live in Manhattan. What else? I have an amazing mom. No, I have a brother. I am an entrepreneur, which is very fun to always say. It
What do you do
doesn't
for
feel
First Rounds
real.
on Me?
I do your influencer program and create content for you guys and embarrass myself on the streets. But like that's the way it rolls. No, I got a good life going on. I'm single, 27, dating around, which is why it's like the perfect company to work for you guys
So
because it works. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here with you guys.
Nice.
So
We
fun.
love it.
yes, thank you guys.
Of course, thank you for coming and making the time. All right, so I want to know if you could sum up the essence of Allowed to Ask in like one word or phrase, what would it be and why?
For me, it would be fun because nothing's better than spending time with Dani. And sometimes I'm hesitant, like before we did our podcast, to kind of ask questions, but now I kind of have to. Like it all has to be put out there on the line.
Yeah, now it's
because-
mandated.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you were not hesitant to ask any
Well, I
questions.
had to like read the room, like when we're on FaceTime, because sometimes, she gets a little nasty and then sometimes you get a quick bye. But now it's like, I need to know everything because it's all part of our content.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're also
got-
setting boundaries. We got to set some boundaries.
Yeah, I had a little
too.
boundary.
Yeah.
thing in the
What are the
car.
boundaries? What do
Yeah.
you mean?
I think we've been very honest and open with every single like topic, even just growing up when I was younger. But now it's also like I'm getting close to 30. I'm like fully an adult. Like I don't need my mom to know everything. So setting a boundary with like you're allowed to ask, but just like know when to stop asking.
And I also can't speak for her. I was just
Yeah.
told on the way over here.
Yeah.
Like, don't speak for me. Like, I could speak for myself. I'm like, okay.
So it's great that we're so open and so comfortable with each other, but it also is like, I think I have to draw a line where it's like, if I go on a date and I had a lot of fun, like she starts projecting and she's like, this is my son-in-law. Like you get so excited. So it's like, I try to tame her.
I don't say that to you.
Yeah, but I know
But you
you're
say it
thinking
to like your friends, and if you have like.
Well, I just get excited for her. It's like I'm proud of her and happy for her, and she's living life and she's having fun, and it's great being single in New York City. But I just want everything in the world for her, so that's why I'm always
Yes, but that's like separate than like what we're talking about here. But
Okay.
yeah, fun. I would agree. I would say like raw. I would talk about because we're very honest, but we also get a little. I don't like to use the word raunchy because I don't want to be raunchy, but I think we're raw in the fact where like we say it how it is. We say what's on our mind.
we have no filter.
We have no filter, which could be scary sometimes, but it works for our relationship. And the whole point also about Allowed to Ask is to encourage not only, girls my age to open up to their parents, but also teenagers, and also encourage parents and adults to talk to their kids about things that they might feel uncomfortable bringing up. Like I do think there's a boundary when it comes to like what things you should be asking, but making conversations comfortable for your kids is very important. I'm sure you could speak more to that.
I think that's awesome, and I could actually speak to that. And I feel like if you were brought up in New York and you're like, Italian or of, Jewish, we're all the same.
Yeah.
It's like
with the hands.
Yeah, the hand, the way like my mom and my aunt, same thing. When my cousin meets somebody, the first date, they're like Googling him. This is her husband. And I'm like,
it's the best when I like go on her phone and like on Facebook, she's like Googling this like guy I went out with like for one time. I'm like, why'd you even find his last name? I don't know his last name.
I like a visual.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. So I would say I never really had a sex conversation with my parents. There's one
like when you were losing your virginity?
No, like ever. Like one thing my mom told me, I think I was like 14. She just out of nowhere, which was so uncomfortable for me. She's just like, listen, I know you're gonna have sex. It's fine. Wear a condom because if you have a kid, you're out of the house. And I was like, it came out of nowhere. I was just like,
Mom, I'm having cereal.
Mom, why are you telling me about sex? My dad never brought anything up. That was literally it. So in my head, I was like, don't have a kid, and that's it. You're good. Just wear a condom and don't have a kid.
This reminds me of what you said to my brother.
I knew you were going to
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so my brother went to Vanderbilt, which is in Nashville. So it's like southern
Really good
for
school.
us. Yeah, he's a smart cookie. Yeah, he's a smart cookie. And my mom said to him,
I said, so if you sleep with a girl in Vanderbilt, because, it's very, very southern, I said, make sure you double up on the condoms because...
No, you said if she has 2 names, you wear 2 condoms because she's keeping the baby. Anyway,
I'm sorry, but like, okay, this goes later in the podcast. But you had this whole thing of like Momtras, and that needs to be one of them.
Okay.
Yeah,
like an
2 names,
if
2
you've got
condoms
2 names, 2
because she's
condoms.
keeping the baby.
Yeah.
What is the most unexpected thing that you've learned about each other whilst recording?
That you have an amazing memory. Like I literally
Well, when it comes to like the guys in your life and stuff.
Yeah, she remembers.
But I don't remember what I ate yesterday for lunch.
No, absolutely. But like that's what I'm talking about. I know you're horrible with memory, like day to day. But when it comes to like people I've gone on dates with and like seen in the past, I have a name for everyone that I've gone on dates with. Like she'll be like, "Oh, remember Cast Man?" Or "Do you remember like No Neck Man?" Or I have a name for everyone.
Yeah,
but
everyone has a nickname.
No Neck Man. It's as simple as it sounds. Like he just didn't have a neck. But she remembers so many things that I have like probably blacked out. Anything you've learned about me?
No, not really. Nothing different.
Yeah.
Are you guys always aligned on who Dani dates? Like,
No.
or do you like somebody and she's like, I don't like him, and it's like you're vouching for him?
Sometimes I like them on paper.
Yeah.
Like I'm always like, damn,
You
he
fall in
seems
love
like
with
a
stats.
good guy.
Yeah.
Right. And then she's like, Ma, he's so boring. I'm like, well, maybe, just.
Yeah, she hears like height, where he's from, last name, work, school, and she's like, he's your husband. And I'm like,
so good.
I don't even know his last name or like where he lives in the city. So like, I think you fall in love with like major
who's your favorite of all time so far?
that I've
Oh,
seen.
see, it's hard.
Like boyfriend
Like a
or like
boyfriend?
No,
Boyfriend?
just anyone that's
She had
been
bad
introduced to you.
boyfriends. Her high school boyfriend was a good guy, though. And I did like her other boyfriends. Not one, but I liked another one, even though he was bad, too.
bad news bears.
He was
Yeah,
so bad.
We've all been there.
I have a bad track record.
Yeah.
but-
I feel like I really haven't met anybody in so long.
No, you really liked. Can I just say names? Fuck it.
No.
Really?
Who? Just say it. Just say a nickname.
There's no nickname. Soccer birthright. Let's just
Oh,
fucking
yeah, but
say his
he's
name
a
this one.
child.
Yeah.
And now, you know what? Now I don't like him anymore because he ends up to be a bad dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's the younger guy,
He was a younger guy.
Yeah.
the one that you were telling us about.
No, but different
Oh.
younger guy.
Oh, two
Yeah.
younger guys. Okay.
No, yeah, no, we're done with younger guys. I think.
I don't
This,
know.
I'm a like same age or a little bit older.
What's
Lies,
your, what
lies,
are, what
lies.
are you guys?
Ha-
No, now. I'm saying
Now you're married now. I would hope so.
Wait. For whom you would marry, I think it's a really good thing. So I used to date much older men. Like I would date 12, 15, 20
Like
years older than me.
daddies?
Like loved it, right? Especially when I was like 19, 20. Adored it.
That's hot.
And then
Joke.
when
of
I
yours.
was 26, I dated an 18-year-old. Which is like, it felt really...
That's like basically
he,
illegal.
He lied to me and told me that he was 19 or 20. And then as we started to get into this relationship, he was like, oh, I'm actually 18. And I was like, you fucking lied to me. And it felt
Big
really fucking
controversy too.
strange.
If you Google Hannah, you'll see the paparazzi with this person Big
And
controversy.
But he was like the nicest fella. He's like so intelligent. But in terms of marriage, I think that like, right, because we're the exact same age. He's like 6 months older than I am.
Yeah, it's like the same age.
And that I think is really wonderful for a marriage because we just have like kind of the same life experiences and same views on the world. We've grown up kind of together in the same environment.
Well, I was telling Joe yesterday that I went on a date like last week with this guy who was 25, which is only 2 years younger than me, and he was really nice and don't get me wrong, but like he just felt young. Like even just in the way he spoke and like where he is in life, like it's only, I think you could meet a 24, 25-year-old who is way beyond their years. Because I've also gone out with 35, 36-year-olds where I'm like he might as well be playing video games. I don't know if you play video games, but like he just really just very mature. So I think like, right, your age or a little bit older is like the sweet spot.
But you're also mature for your age.
I would
feel
you
are.
I would say so too.
What's the age difference between you and your husband?
2 years.
2 years.
He's older?
He's older. 2 years
Okay.
older.
Yeah, if Hannah was 6 years older than me, I would have never married her. I need to be older.
Well, what
you're
was-
older by
no,
like a day.
That's it.
What was your rule? It was like
That's
it
it.
needs to be older or like can't be older or can't be taller. And I just made that cut
She's
off. I'm
an inch
5'11"
shorter than
and
me
he's
and
6
6
foot.
months
Yeah.
younger.
And so
Do you wear heels?
I love wearing heels.
Because my mom's taller than my dad.
Yeah,
And
and
you
I
wear
never
heels?
wear heels.
Never wear
No,
heels?
and then when I was young, I used to have really high hair, and then
You
I
did
wore
or you did?
heels. I did. Daddy has no hair.
No, but he had hair. And my mom calls my dad daddy. It's so gross. It's so gross.
She hates it. The first
no,
time she
no.
heard it, she was like, this is creepy.
But she calls my dad daddy. Like, are
Well,
you
to you, when I refer him to
My
you,
mom does the same
No.
exact thing.
If you want to bring this up, let's fucking bring it up properly. We were the first time I met his family, and his mother was saying, "Daddy likes this, Daddy likes that," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, that's weird. I've never experienced that before." And then he goes, "Oh, Ma, Daddy said this," and I looked at him and I was
Ew, Joe, you call your dad daddy?
like, "No, it was like a Freudian slip," but also at the same time, I was like,
but it's also
Bro.
his daddy. Dave's my husband.
Yeah, so
but
it's
I
even worse.
refer to him because he's your dad.
Janice, you're right. Don't let them corrupt
Anyway.
you. You're right.
Yeah, well, dad had hair back in the day. He wasn't
Barely.
born bald.
barely.
I want to know what quality you admire the most in each other.
Oh, this is going to get cute.
Yeah.
You go first.
Okay.
Our podcast is different than yours. Ours is yours is really exciting and fun. Ours is very deep and
No, I
No,
like
I
it.
like it. It's a nice change of pace for us, honestly. It's like a breath of fresh air.
I love that you're 80 degrees and sunny. I love your attitude. You wake up happy, you go to bed happy, you're always energized. I like your whole vibe and spirit.
It's really sweet.
Lucky me.
Lucky you. That's right. I would say I love how comfortable you make very uncomfortable conversations, which is like very rare to find in a mom, I would say. Like, it's very easy to go to your friends about things that are uncomfortable. But I go to my mom no matter like how weird, no matter what it's about, like whether it's like dating, work, sex, like whatever it may be. Like if I have a UTI, like she knows about it. And it's like probably because I had sex with someone. Like it's
We were
like,
just talking about that. a half
yeah,
hour
like
ago.
it's just it makes
Yeah.
it very, very
Right.
comfortable environment. And that was the same, it's not even just like as an adult now, like it was always like
Right.
that growing up. And even like that's just how our family was. Like we're very open and very comfortable. And I think blessing and a curse, but more blessing.
how
bless you.
how has your personal relationship, because working with somebody who you're super close with personally is interesting. Obviously her and I are married and we like work together a lot. So there's like boundaries that get crossed and we do a good job of it, but it's a lot.
Mhm.
How has that worked with you guys as far as the podcast?
Well, we used to I used to come in a lot on Sundays and spend time with her and run around. So now,
Well, she used to come in on Sundays. It started when I first graduated college when my ex-boyfriend and I broke up, and she would
the
come in.
boyfriend that I shouldn't like, but I loved.
Irrelevant, but yes.
Well,
She started coming in because I was like so upset. So she was just like checking in on me every Sunday. And then like 3 years later, she's still doing it. And I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah,
Like love
don't
you.
Stop
You
coming
don't
in.
have to come
You're
in
ruining
or-
my Sunday brunch.
Right, literally.
Right.
But
But then, so now, instead of doing that, like it's fun. We come in, once a week. I spend time with her. We come do our podcast, which is always super fun. So it's just good mother-daughter time and fun to be together. And
well, one thing I would say, which is like challenging, I think, quote unquote, because we are working together at some capacity, is we both really like to get shit done in like a timely manner.
Mhm.
But I also have like a full job during the day. Like I run a company of my own, and she wants to get shit done on her time and I want to get shit done on my time. So she's texting me like trying to figure out dates when she should come into the city and record another episode. And I want to do that too. So she's like writing me novels of like when she can come in. And I'm like, great, like pocketing that. And then the next day she's like, so when should she gets her hair done for every episode, which makes
I know.
it more.
Danny told me about that yesterday. I love it.
She wants to book her hair appointment.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
like,
very busy,
I will text Felix those dates when I have time. So it's like, and then once I book the time with Felix, like she's like, okay, what are we talking about? And I was like, we will get to it when I have time.
Right.
Like, so that's been the biggest challenge is like,
But I try
align-
not to be too annoying.
no, you're great. But it's like figuring out when to get stuff done when it both works for us.
And just a side note, I also have a life.
No, you absolutely,
Like I got stuff going on.
you
I got a lot of
absolutely
friends.
have a life. You- And
I
like
have
you
a life.
absolutely
And your hair looks great, by the way.
100%.
It does.
you
It looks
guys,
phenomenal.
thanks.
100%. She just went brunette.
I transitioned.
Yeah, that's what you gotta stop saying that though.
I was
She's like
blonde.
saying it as like transitioning. Yeah. So yeah, I would say that's the biggest like struggle. But I guess I never really thought about it as like working together. Like this was the first time I thought about it as that versus just like, oh, she's coming in, we're
Yeah.
recording a podcast.
It's kind of a bonus.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
kind of a
And back to our podcast for 1 second, it really is opening up a lot of conversations for people. Like even some of my friends, like my good friend's daughter doesn't really date. And she's like, oh, listen to the podcast. So they talked about it a little. Like I've heard like a lot of little snippets. And that kind of makes me happy because I think it's good. Because I'm always trying to give other people, I'm a good sharer and I always try to give people advice and how to talk about things. And over the years, people always said, how are you and Danny so close? Like, what's your secret? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's something the way I was brought up or something I didn't have. I have no idea.
Well, I think that's one of the beautiful things about podcasts. And people sit there and say, like, the podcast space is so saturated and blah, blah, all these kind of things. But the beautiful thing about it is there is a place for each unique perspective and voice. And so, like, we get together with people and we talk about dating and relationships and human connection. It's really beautiful for us. And to your point, to what you said actually at the very start of the podcast, is that you give people an opportunity to open the door within their family, which in of itself is a beautiful thing because a lot of people are very uncomfortable. I have the same relationship that you do with my mother. Like we talk about anything and everything, literally. And I always cherish that so much. Just as I was watching the podcast, I saw that reflected and it just brought my heart so much joy because I was like, that's like me and my mum.
Yeah.
Do you have a sister?
I do have a little sister.
What was that like? Because she always says like, I wish you had a sister. And I was like, what? I would literally do horrible with a sister.
We're basically Irish twins. She's 18 months younger than me, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
we had such a close relationship growing up. And then I left Paris to start modeling, and then she was kind of like left alone. Like I was by her side, like a little psychic for her entire childhood, and then all of a sudden I was gone. So we like drifted apart a little bit, but now we've like reconnected more so. And I mean, I loved growing up with a little sister. She annoyed the shit out of me, but I loved her to death.
Yeah, I wanted her to have a sister. I thought it could be really fun because I grew up with 2 older brothers and my girlfriends. I love my friends and they've always been important to me. So I was like, wouldn't it be fun if she had a sister? But
No.
my husband, I had the boy, I had the girl. He was done.
We got the best of both worlds in that regard. That's kind of what I want. He wants 4 children. I'm like, yeah, good
Three.
luck.
You guys better get started right now.
We're trying, don't you worry.
I'm pointing to the room.
Also, do you
Janice,
know
we're
that
recording
your
a podcast.
glasses are on the top of your head? Were
No,
you planning on that?
They can stay on there. That's
Kind
fine.
of a vibe.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
All right, one more question for this, and then Joe, you're going to do dating. So I want to know what your aspirations or your hopes are for the future of Allowed to Ask.
I think it's kind of what I touched on before is like and you said it yourself, like the podcast space is so saturated and there are so many, dating, like young podcasts of like girls like my age, like talking about dating and relationships and friendships. Like I think it's very saturated in that regard, but I think what brings such a different perspective to it is bringing in my mom in the sense where like one showcases how comfortable we are and hopefully encouraging, daughters to talk to their moms the way I do, but then also bringing in a whole different audience of podcasters and people listening to podcasts and like older generation. What are you, like a boomer? I don't know. What are you?
I have no idea. I'm old.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bring in the boomers. Let's say, like, bring in older.
I don't think I'm a boomer. What am I?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Just
I think-
old.
61.
Yeah.
Old.
That's a baby boomer.
That's a
Oh,
baby.
it is?
Oh, you're a baby boomer.
I'm a boomer.
Yeah.
It's not
Baby.
old. It's not
A
old.
baby one.
It's not old.
That's
not
cute.
It's not old at all.
That's not
But no, I think, the reason why I was so excited to bring this on as a podcast, because, I want to help everybody. But if someone came to me and said, I want to do a podcast, I'd be like, well, does it help the business? Because if it doesn't, like, I'm not just going to make a podcast for you. I don't really care. but I want everything to tie back to being different, but also catering to making people feel comfortable and opening up conversations.
Right.
So when Dani approached me about your podcast, I said, this is a no-brainer for me. I love Dani. She spoke so highly of you. And I was like, it's such a different, unique angle. Let's do it. And
Also, so
yeah,
many
I
people
love
want to
it.
listen to Dani speak.
Yeah.
We're meeting.
my
I'm like,
voice is like,
Dani.
Well, I'm scared because in like a year from now, I think Dani's going to blow up and she'll be like, listen, I'm doing my own thing.
Oh.
Or like E-News is hiring me and be like, all right, see you later.
You guys are your mouth to God's ears, but no, never.
But the best thing that could come out of this is if kids really, if daughters really speak to their moms. Like,
Yeah.
I know, so I think
Like,
mom speaking to their
and mom
daughters.
speaking to the daughters, but most kids don't open up to their parents. They talk more to their friends, but the parents really have their back and they really lived life and they have the best advice for them. So, and don't hide anything. Like, you're living your life. It's fine. And parents also on that side, they shouldn't judge. Like, let their kids be
Creating a safe
who
I
space.
they
think
are.
that's the issue too, is I think a lot of daughters, like teenagers, would want to talk to their mom about things, but it's just the nervousness of how they're going to react. Like, I would talk to you about things because I knew, like, we talked about it on our episode, like the
Girls Gone Wild.
yeah, or like when I was
You
like
did Girls Gone Wild?
no, when I was like having
Yeah.
when I was like losing my virginity and I was so nervous to talk about my mom about going on birth control, like, and I brought it up to you in like in a way that you knew I was beating around the bush, but like I felt comfortable even asking to go on birth control because you made it comfortable. But there are a lot of girls out there whose the parents are probably like sticklers and so strict that it makes them feel uncomfortable. So I'm not saying like a parent needs to be like you in the sense where it's like you're hosting the pre-games when we were younger and like probably providing the alcohol. I'm not saying you need to do that, but I'm just saying like making it more of a more comfortable space for your daughters to approach the conversation. Because the reason I felt so comfortable doing so is because you made it comfortable.
Right. But we also said how I did open up the house and I knew you were drinking and doing whatever you were doing, whatever. Like you went to college and you knew how to handle yourself and whatever. Yeah. It was the kids who like couldn't wait to get out of their parents' house. And then that was Girls Gone Wild.
Girls Gone Wild? Yeah.
My household was so strict.
Really?
Like, my mother wasn't. My father was like militant.
Really?
And then I left to Paris at 17. I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And I went wild because I didn't have those experiences. I never got to experience that in a safe environment. I went to a very unsafe environment to be able to do so. So like, I'm a massive advocate for the
she was
environment
like
that you created.
Yeah, we would like when I was younger, like in high school, we would always host the pre-games because she knew we were in our basement. Like she knew we were drinking, but if anything were to happen, like if I was like throwing up or my brother's friends were sick, whatever, like she was there. Like nothing ever got out of control because she knew it was happening. And my friends and my brother's friends, like we all knew my parents were upstairs. Like it just made it very comfortable, which I think was.
We had one rule. My mom was like, I know you're gonna drink. It's fine. Just if you need a ride, call me. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only rule.
I like
Yeah.
that.
I like that too.
Yeah.
You're up, Dylan.
I'm up.
You're up.
Here we go.
All right, I'm gonna try. Hannah wrote bigger for me because
You need
Can't
glasses.
I
my
try and
bloody
read
handwriting.
and then I screw the questions up and she's like, just give it to me. All right, but
Bloody.
they look
I like
big.
that.
They're
Bloody.
good.
Bloody handwriting.
And I kind of memorize them.
You did?
Wow.
You prepped for
I did.
us?
When swiping on a dating app, what's an immediate no? And do you chime in on the dating app stuff?
Please, of course she does.
Oh, we
Love
haven't
it.
done that in a while. I think we should like do it on the TV tonight a little.
Okay.
You can
Yeah,
do it
we
now
like
if you want.
airplay it onto TV.
Yeah, she does it so fast. So I really like to look like she's like, no.
Why
I'm trying to
don't
get that last name.
Why don't we do her last match?
What's an immediate hold your horses, guys? What's an immediate no for me? I mean, this is gonna sound really pretty shallow, but like if I'm instantly not attracted to them, like it's no for me.
And you could tell right away. if
Right
you're
away.
attracted.
Like
Okay.
as she just
How
said,
many
I'm
pictures?
It's
so
like
fast.
a half of a second.
If they don't have pictures,
No, how many pictures does it take? Did you?
two.
Okay, so
Yeah.
2 pictures.
Yeah.
And
I also think if I'm looking more in depth at the pictures, if it's only solo pictures, if there's no photos to showcase your personality, then it's a no for me. I don't need to see your friends, but I want to see you in like not a social setting, but I want to see that it's more than you just like taking mirror selfies or like solely just pictures of you at like a wedding. You know what I mean? I want to see your personality a bit.
You also want pictures that it shows that the person cares.
What?
You know when people do like, like have these.
Well,
horrible
yeah, like if
pictures.
they have like
what was this?
yeah, I don't know.
Like
I don't-
sometimes the pictures are, they're like they're just.
you have to
around,
like take it with a grain of salt because I do think like obviously like women take a lot more time with their pictures and guys just don't have a lot of pictures that are as fabulous as women do.
It's very true. Be easy on us.
Right. So that I definitely take into consideration, but I know right off the bat if I'm attracted to them or not. But I've also been way more consider it recently because I feel like I've met people in person, not
Yeah.
through an app, and I wouldn't typically be attracted to them. But then after I like had a conversation with them, I'm like, you're actually pretty cute. So
Very true. And
being
I
more
think,
open to people who I wouldn't necessarily go out with is my new thing.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
and I think once you fall in love with somebody, you realize that you don't have a type.
Yeah,
Like that's what I realized.
Well, it's so funny because someone is setting me up for a date tomorrow, and she was like, "I don't even know what your I don't know who your type is," and I was like, "I don't even know what my type is." So like, throw them my way, and we'll go from there.
I'll say for guys, the picture that did best for me,
Mhm.
like unanimously. I don't know if you remember my picture. I'm laying in a hammock with my nephew, and I have a beer.
I mean, yeah,
and
with a
literally,
kid.
it was like the all-time best photo.
How
of me on
would
a
you have
dating app.
had that on your dating profile when your nephew is 2 years old?
Oh, no, Corey.
Oh, I was like,
You're a liar.
excuse me?
Oh no, Ryan. Ryan is
Ryan, okay, that
Ryan
makes
is,
sense, that makes sense.
Yes, this was like 6.
Okay.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like a guy could be a 4, like they're holding a child. Like
Oh,
you're
it's the
6.
best picture
Yeah.
on a hammock with a beer and
Yeah.
a baby, and like every girl, even my friends, are just like, "That's a good picture."
Yeah,
girl."
yeah.
They become an 8 with a dog.
You get at least a 7 with a dog.
Yeah.
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 Now, Janice, if Danny's dating profile was being honest, what would it say?
Oh.
If she was being honest.
No, like something that she probably hides from her dating profile that would be fully honest that she would need to put on there.
Oh,
I'm ready for it.
I honestly can't even think of anything.
No, don't
You
be
were
like
honest?
that.
No, I can't even think of anything.
I can think of things like can be a nasty bitch to her mom.
Oh, yeah, but you wouldn't put that, you know.
No, that's the point.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
if-
okay.
That's the point.
Yeah,
We're not actually putting
okay.
this on.
I actually call her NB for nasty bitch. But
That is my nickname.
it doesn't come out that often anymore.
It comes out when you're annoying.
Right, okay.
How can she be an NB though?
Not so much anymore, but when she was younger or when she was like
22.
or when she was going through a bad relationship and I wanted more information and I guess I was prodding, she would get like edgy with me.
Edgy's
That's
the word.
fair.
Edgy's the word.
Edgy, I
Edgy.
can
Yeah.
understand
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Edgy's the word.
But you're not really like that so much anymore.
No, I also very much just like I like to think that I like beat to my own drum in some way. If like I don't want to do something or I don't want to go out or I don't want to do this dinner plan or go out with a guy that I'm not interested in, like I'm not doing it.
Mhm.
And like no one can convince me I'm gonna get a little edgy
Okay,
because
and
I don't
that's
want
how
to
you got mad. You canceled the date the other night.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're
Yeah, and
okay.
I was
okay.
like,
okay.
Why'd you
That
cancel?
is
Like,
not what you said. I FaceTimed her during the time I was supposed to be on a date, but I canceled it. And she's like, aren't you supposed to be on a date? I go, no, I canceled it. I wasn't in the mood. She goes, oh, no, you didn't. I'm like, why are you so defensive right
because you're
now?
supposed to give everyone a second chance.
That is not true. Not if you didn't have fun the first time around.
You kind of had fun.
She's
And he
speaking
was
for me.
stressed.
Okay, anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so now we know it takes you about 2 photos for us if you're attracted to somebody.
Yeah.
But when you actually show up to the date, how many minutes in are you like, this is not going anywhere?
I could probably tell within the first like 5 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. I also think it, and I hate to say this, but I do think when the person's drinking a little more, they get a little more comfortable. But very early on, I could tell if I'm going to have a very fun date or a decent date. I always say I never have a bad date. You've heard this so many times, but
Yeah.
like I have fun with myself. Like
You can entertain yourself.
yeah, like I've been on like a date that's like not great, but usually my dates are like either average or great. There's never like a, oh my God, that was horrible. Because honestly, I could talk. And if they're not talking, I will have a conversation with myself to some degree.
Bring
so
your own fun.
I bring my own fun, right? And like, so I would say very, very early on,
Okay.
I know. But I'm also at a stage where it's like, yeah, I am willing to give someone a second chance. But if the day of the date comes around and I'm not in the mood, I'm not going. Because I also, if I know there's no future coming out with this person, if I don't feel any little spark, like I'm not wasting my time.
That's fair.
right, babe.
Yeah.
I always say like the first 15 minutes of a date is really tough because
Yeah.
people should be nervous because you're meeting somebody. And I don't mean nervous in a bad way, but
Yeah.
if you're going to meet a new friend, like you're going to be like excited,
Yeah.
nervous, like I'm meeting somebody new. And the first 15 minutes, it's not really them.
Yeah.
So I feel like you have to like
Give
push
them time.
past
No, it's
that.
true. It's true.
you know?
I always say, I don't think I ever really get nervous going into a date. It's literally the worst. I'm sure a lot of people could resonate with this. It's the worst feeling. Like after you have a full day of work, you're getting dressed, you're walking or in the Uber, wherever, going to the date. It's just like, holy fuck. Like I do not want to do this. But then once you're there and like you actually get over like the hi, how are you, nice to meet you moment, it's totally fine. Like it's
Yeah.
the worst part is going there.
It's like the gym.
Yeah,
The
right.
worst part of it is going to the gym. Once you're there, you're fine.
Once you're there, you're fine. And when you leave, you feel pretty good. Whether it's a good date or a bad date, you're like, all right, either I have a great story or I have a great connection.
1000%.
Speaking of bad date, for both of you,
Yeah.
and this is probably before you met your husband, or actually maybe with your husband.
Oh, yeah.
Worst dating story.
Oh, I had a dating story where I was fixed up on a blind date and the guy was so unattractive. I know that sounds mean. And you have to remember
But
when
why?
I dated, like, I mean, we didn't have, the words.
Apps.
Yeah, you didn't get to see
nothing.
people.
We had
Google.
nothing.
My mom's a big Googler.
Yeah, so, but there wasn't even, when I was dating, we weren't even on computers.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like.
Now she's
hello.
still a Googler.
So this guy showed up and I was like, oh my God.
Who
And
set
I
you
also,
up?
don't even remember,
Yeah.
but I always noticed teeth. That's always been my thing too. He had the worst teeth. He had like kind of like an afro. He was scrawny. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so bad. So I was going to a place in Great Neck. And I said, oh, I'll be ready in 2 seconds. And to even think about it now, like I had him come to my apartment. Like that's what we did back then. I don't think the world was
Like
so
before
creepy.
you met him?
Yeah, he like rang my
No, I think the
doorbell.
world was creepy. It just wasn't so publicized. But
Yeah. So I called my girlfriend. I said, we're going here, come, make believe you're getting stood up and join us. And that's exactly what happened. My friend Hillary came, met me on the date. And she's like, I said, oh, Hill. And I said, she's like, I go, what are you doing? She goes, I'm waiting for a date. And then I was like, oh my God, just sit with us till he comes. And then obviously he never came.
Oh, that's a smooth move.
Yeah,
I
so
like
that was
that.
like my worst date. But otherwise, I loved dating. I loved meeting new people. I always looked at it, you'll have another friends in life. Like, who cares?
Janice, it's really.
I find it fun. I find it exciting. So now I live
I was gonna
vicariously
say that's why
through
you're kind
her.
of living vicariously
Yeah,
through her.
100%.
What's yours?
I've never really had like,
Air drum.
he was just boring as fuck. But this was a guy. This is actually a funny
salmon
story.
sweatshirt.
Yes. See, crazy memory. She remember what he was wearing. Okay. I was
Wow.
getting set up actually. So my mom's like friend, whatever, some Jewish geography stuff. Is like a matchmaker, and she was like,
She's not really a matchmaker. She's just a woman who likes to,
she's a Jewish
play
mom who likes to
matchmaker.
play matchmaker.
Yeah.
So she was like, oh, let me set up your daughter with someone. So I was like, fine. He looked cute in photos. I'm walking to the date. It was a brunch date. I've never done a brunch date before. This wasn't even the story I was going to tell, but this sucked too. And I'm like a block away and I see this guy with like his wired headphones, like no hate towards wired headphones. I use those, but he's like really just like getting in there, like really air drumming. And as I'm walking there, I'm like, holy fuck, I hope this is not my date. I walk by the guy, like expecting to like, I hope he like doesn't say anything. He's like, oh, are you Dani? I'm like, fuck. And it was him. We just were not the same vibe. But that wasn't my worst date. It was just like, he was just not my person at all. The worst date I've been on it was 45 minutes. We just talked about this on the episode with my friend Spencer. The date was 45 minutes. We met on an app and he said, do you mind if we do drinks? And I was like, oh my God, that's so nice. Like I never get asked if I like mind to do drink. Maybe I don't drink, whatever. So I respond like, yeah, I'm a big gin martini girl, works for me. He goes, okay, I actually don't drink anymore, but I'm down to still do drinks. And I was like, oh my God, we can literally do anything else. We can go on a walk, get ice cream, like sit in the park, anything else. He goes, no, I actually do best on drink dates. So like I should have been like, what?
Confusing.
But he was like, this was like 3 years ago. So he was like early 30s. I was early 20s. So I was like, all right, maybe he's just like in his 30s and over drinking. We get to the date. I order a glass of wine. He orders a Diet Coke. And I wasn't going to bring up like why you don't drink. It's none of my business. He's like, so you're probably wondering why I don't drink. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not my business. The next 45 minutes talked about how he's just like in and out of rehab. And like, look, don't get me wrong. Like I feel for you, but I just knew in that moment I did not need to be with that person. Just hearing. And so I I texted my friend saying like, I need to get out of here. And she called me and was like, you're late for my birthday party. Like, where are you? And like, I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. I have a birthday dinner. And I left. But
It was like a therapy session.
Especially that's so much information to share on a first date.
it was like, yeah, he brought all of his baggage to that first date. And I was like, let's tuck it
So
back
I
up.
have a feeling that, I mean, nothing against you, obviously, like the most beautiful human being ever.
I love you.
But like he literally could have anybody in front of him. He just would have dumped that information.
Yeah.
Like, he was waiting.
He also didn't look like
He
his
was
pictures.
fucking
Like
air drumming on the street,
Yeah.
waiting to dump that information on you.
no, different people.
Oh, different people.
That's
Sorry,
alcoholic
sorry.
and air drumming are two just different people.
Can you imagine if they were the same person?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make it much worse.
My God.
Now, what's your ultimate mom approved quality
kind of
for
guy?
dating? Yeah, like what are you like? This is the number one thing that I want to see with one of Dani's daters?
A guy who has great communication, super kind,
We're going for kind.
loves her so much. Obviously, you have to have grit, and be a hard worker.
Yeah, I'm aligned with all of those.
Yeah. Someone funny would be actually.
Yeah,
nice.
that's
Fresh.
like
Funny's tough.
Funny, not even just
Funny.
funny, but like someone who could like just banter back and forth with me.
Banter's such an
Yeah,
important
so and
skill.
I've never really had that with any of my ex-boyfriends.
They're always usually more on the quiet side.
Yes. I'm gonna like go off of your thing though. Like my new thing is I really want someone to like bring out like the feminine side of me.
I do that with her.
What? Yeah,
Before I met her, she was, very like
hard
independent.
I was very dominant. I
Yeah.
had to be. 'Cause I
Yeah.
was living my life and I was traveling around the world and I was by myself. And so I had to be like really dominant.
Right.
And that's really, not to say that feminine and dominant aren't synonymous with each other.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that real kind of
absolutely.
thing. And then it's like I've slowly but surely been able to relax back into the feminine.
Yeah, like I want someone to like what's the word you always use in the beginning stages? You're like you want them to
Court you?
court. That's what you say.
Do it?
Yeah, you've
Okay.
said it. But I definitely want that. Like I'm someone if I like I don't want to say the word if I could, like I'd be making the plans. I would hang out when I want to see. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but I kind of want to bring out the feminine side of me where it's like, yeah, I'm being a little
like
bit
a dude.
courted. Yeah, all I'm missing is the penis. But like
Literally.
literally. No, we know I don't have a penis.
No, I'm saying because you're
What?
single. You
Yeah.
don't have a penis.
Oh, wait.
Talk about dating.
What is being single and having
Because you said I don't have the penis. Like,
I don't have
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Actually.
Anyway. Okay, anyway.
Sorry.
But yeah, no,
Yeah,
don't
that was good.
apologize ever. Yeah, that's like where I'm at. Is like I just want someone who, like you said, who just like not like kind of like just worships me. And I'm done like worshiping. I want to worship them too, but like I've been the worshiper in the past.
You want that fair exchange
Yeah.
of being able to worship somebody because that's like very innate to you,
Yes.
clearly. And then you want to have that received back because
Yeah.
a lot of times when women are dominant,
Mhm.
you very often are just like the giver, right? You don't get
Mhm.
that person caring for you. And so when you find somebody that cares for you just as much as you care for them,
Yeah.
that is the most beautiful relationship
Yeah.
because you're just constantly filling each other's cup.
Yeah.
And you
We
never
also
run
say
dry.
like we never really know what the word to use is, but like someone who I think maybe it's dominant, but like I think dominant women could scare a lot of guys away.
The wrong guys.
Right, and that's the thing is like I'm not gonna end up with someone who's like scared of my personality. But it's interesting like navigating like I could leave a date and I'm like I know I scared the living shit out of that person and, like,
She did that to me.
and like that's fine.
She scared the
like
living shit out
I
of
have
me.
a lot of energy and I say it how it is and like if you can't handle that then like I don't want to be with you anyway.
Well, so I think sometimes men, and like he can attest to it, he was terrified of me when I first met him because I was
Third date.
Yeah,
was like,
because
what
I
the
was just
fuck?
so I was like exactly like you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say it how it is. I am who I am. You either come into my life and you add to it, or you get the fuck out. Like
Yeah.
I'm not
Right.
willing to put up with anything else. And you could tell he was really taken aback. But the right man will kind of rise to that challenge and be like, "Well, I'm not going to try to dim your light. I want you to
Yeah.
stay exactly the way that you
That's
are.
exactly it.
Push
You
it back
didn't-
up."
Yeah.
I always used to say that too.
Yeah.
That we don't want anyone to dim your light.
Yeah, and my like track record has been just like light dimmers. So
Mate, me too. Or every other past relationship was the exact same. And
Yeah.
it's like your light is so fucking beautiful and bright. Like you do not
you need
deserve.
like
Yeah.
you need the glasses that you look at during the eclipse.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how
Devastated.
burnt I
You're
am.
blinded by you, but like, oh my god, she's so
Right.
beautiful.
Right.
That's what I figured. I was
But
going to
she
ask
also
you that.
needs to find someone to like match her energy. Like she's got good energy.
100%. Or you need someone that balances it out. You know,
Correct.
we're not identical, but I think we have the same kind of way of approaching life in like our enthusiasm and our positivity
Yeah,
and our core morals
absolutely.
and values and all that kind of stuff. You need someone who complements you
Correct.
Yeah.
rather than detracts from you
Absolutely.
Yep.
or tries to
100%.
overshadow. Yeah, you got 2 more dating questions.
I got them picked out too.
Good
Oh my
job,
God, I'm so
babe.
excited.
What's your go-to first date? Drink or dinner? What do you prefer?
So I don't really drink anymore.
It's a new thing. With,
Yeah,
the people in their 20s.
Yeah, it's been like almost like a little around like a year. I don't. So, short answer is neither of those actually. I rather like an activity of some sort, and that could be like a walk.
Even
But
on a first
clarify that
date.
you don't
Yeah.
drink because you just don't want to.
Yeah,
drink.
you get so worried that like
I
people
do.
think I'm an alcoholic. I just like
Yeah.
for everyone listening, I just don't like to drink anymore. She always
Yeah.
has to speak for me
Not
at
an
that
issue.
point. Yeah. But for a first date, between drinks and dinner, I would rather drink even if I'm not drinking. I also decide once I get to the date if I want to drink or not. Like I'm not sober. If I drink when I want to drink and I don't when I don't, and just these days it's just more so I don't want to drink. But I still rather a drink date because I think there is a certain amount of time allotted to that. I think dinner could extend a little bit longer, and we always talk about this too, like what's the appropriate time to go on a date or like the length of a date. And I think eating with someone for the first time, meeting them puts a lot of pressure on the situation for some reason. I don't
And
know
it could be a
why.
turnoff.
It could be a turnoff.
My dad on his second date with my mom's eating a cheeseburger, and my mom's a filthy eater. So like it was falling apart, and she was like on the second date, like picking up and eating it. And my dad said, "Listen, I think I'm gonna marry you, but if I didn't think that, I would have walked out of this restaurant right now because you're disgusting."
Yeah, so I would say between the two, I would still prefer drinks whether I'm drinking or not. I just think it makes it less pressure.
Don't you think if you go on a walk with somebody for a first date, like what if 5 minutes into the walk, this person's super weird and
You
awkward,
just
and you're
walk
like,
You
away.
bare left.
Yeah, you just walk away.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
You
I
call
don't know,
your
I feel
friend.
like, hey, let's go on a walk, and then you're like in the walk, and it's just super awkward. And you're
You
like,
could start like heading
what the
towards your
fuck?
apartment and be like, "Oh, look, this is my place. Gotta go."
Blend in
There.
with the crowd. Like, fucking
Yeah.
it's New York, man.
Yeah.
You get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You go to
Last
Times
question
Square and
here.
you run.
Last question here. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned from a past relationship? We'll start with you, Janice.
Her relationship?
No,
My
a past relationship. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned from a past relationship,
I mean, you got
or your current relationship?
God, it was so long ago.
or what's the most valuable thing you've learned being married to your husband?
I know we have to work on our communication, but most
so proud of you guys.
valuable thing
Teach my parents that.
is
They're
it's
still
hard. I mean, it's great, but it's hard too. It's work also.
Damn straight.
Just to have each other's backs. You know, be your number one cheerleaders.
I love that.
But it's not always easy.
oh, preaching to the choir.
Right. Yeah.
Danny?
What's yours, Dan?
I would say the biggest thing I've learned is that you can't lose your identity while dating someone else. I very much lost mine in both of my previous is like it's like 5, 6 to 8 years ago, but like those are my long-term relationships. I definitely lost myself a bit, and like my light was so dimmed, and like my friendship started to deteriorate. So like I think the biggest lesson is finding someone who matches your light, makes you even brighter, and enhances you as a person, because there was a time when I was like not myself because of who I was dating. Like my mom said, I was a nasty bitch, and that's not me to my core. So I would say that's that.
I
Nice.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a question, but it segues into your thing. Do you want to ask the question?
I will ask the question.
Okay, cool.
So nervous.
We ask everybody this question.
Mm.
Would you date yourself?
Oh, I knew this was coming.
I would probably date myself. I
I'd
think I'm
date you.
kind. I think I'm funny. Kind of easygoing. I might not look like I'm easygoing, but I am. Yeah, why not?
Love that. Danny?
I would definitely date myself. I think nobody's perfect. So I come, like, even myself, and so do you too, like I come with warning signs, but isn't that the best part of dating? Like you get to know the person for their pros and their cons.
Damn straight, babe.
And yeah, I mean, I could sit here and say a bunch of positive things about myself, but like I know I'm a good person, and why wouldn't someone want to date a good person?
Yeah, it kind of sounds so easy.
Fucking preach.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to play a couple of games.
Yeah.
Okay, so we always end the podcast this way. So this game is called...
time's flying by. I'm so
I
upset.
know, it's crazy. We've only got 10 minutes left. I'm so
What?
sad.
Okay.
Okay, so we play a game called How Well Do You Know Yourself? So I have done a
God.
very special edition of this where I pulled from the first 2 episodes of your podcast.
Did
I
you
wanna
like them?
see, I love them,
Okay.
first and foremost. I want to see if you remember the statements, questions, or answers that you've said.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ay.
So, Danny,
Yeah.
you were talking about a man who ghosted you after a great first date,
Oh.
and then said you saw him almost every day at the gym. Then you said you saw how many people at the gym that you went on dates with that morning.
Yeah.
I remember.
How many?
Oh, 3.
Yep.
Ding, ding,
I
ding.
remember,
Right.
I remember that too.
Okay, Janice, finish these Momtras. It takes 1 second to
Ruin your life.
love it. I don't care how smart you are, how beautiful you are. You have to be.
A kind person.
Love it. You don't want to.
What was it?
You don't want to.
I don't want to.
Well, you were saying to Danny, you don't want to. ...
Ooh, can you say that again?
Yeah.
You don't want to ...
What's the context?
Yeah.
It's one of her Momtras.
Oh, it's
Oh.
You don't want
I don't
to.
want to.
And
Oh, I know what it is. You don't want to lose the seat of your pants.
Fly by the seat of your pants.
Fly by the-
yeah, before we continue,
Wow.
nobody's ever gotten a perfect score, and you guys are 4 for
You guys-
4 right
yeah, you
now.
get-
Wow.
You don't wanna
fly- Yes,
Right, you don't want to
Um,
fly by the seat
to
of
be
pants.
fair.
Okay, no, man.
How having what is the most important thing?
Oh, I'm doing so bad. How having... It's not like integrity or something.
No,
No,
it's
you would never say that word. Not in that way, but like,
Should I blurt out some big words? So everyone's really
No, 'cause you
confused?
wouldn't-
it was something in your life that was very important. Danny grew up. You were constantly telling us it's so important to have.
Grit?
It starts with
No?
a G.
So important to have
such with a G.
grit.
No,
No?
the grit like wasn't. That's a new word for you.
Oh,
Um,
so important to have.
I'm gonna be so upset when we don't get
Yeah.
this. Can you give us a word it rhymes with?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm gonna say
Is
girlfriends.
girlfriends. I still believe that. Oh, that I should have known.
Yeah, that was bad.
Okay, Danny, finish these sentences.
Mhm.
Pro tip: listen to your
Dads. One dad.
always
Dad.
been around. Dad has always been right about every single guy I've ever dated.
My dad literally after that episode texted me. He was like, "This shit's amazing." After he like was shitting on it.
That message that you said in the group chat yesterday was fucking hilarious.
Should I post that? I have to post
That
it.
was
You
so
honestly
good.
have to.
It's so funny.
You were quoting mum. You made me stop at stop signs and never drive past 9 p.m. But
You're still hosting the pre-games.
that's it, baby.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had a certain amount of time in my life that I could use the
Oh, the
The
dummy door.
the dummy door. Do you remember the dummy
dummy.
door? Is where she could date a hot dumb guy, but it ended senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Correct?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So my mom had a dummy door for me. She was like, you could date. Like, there was a lot of like just hot dumb guys in my high school. She's like, you can date them and fool around with them, but like that ends the moment you go to college. So
Right.
she called it my dummy door was closing.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely using that.
Yeah.
What
my
if she got
children's
asked to be on one of those reality TV shows like F Boy Island or
Cross that bridge if we get there.
Yeah.
Still to become. Okay, so this is from episode 2. So that was all from episode 1. This is from episode 2.
Okay.
Janice, because Danny is dating with intention, what date does she allow herself to sleep with somebody?
This is her fucking
Like
rule.
the fourth date.
Ding, ding, ding.
not the third.
No, this is
fourth.
her,
No,
okay because
this
she
is
thinks
me.
the third is too predictable. I'm like, I'm sleeping with you when I want to sleep with you.
That
So,
way,
like,
we just had that conversation on the way over, though, by the way. She just said, I'm sleeping with people when I want to sleep with them. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, you mean on the fourth date?
So when I tell you to.
so fucked.
Janice, this one is for you too. So what were Amanda and Danny's ick/pet peeves on a date?
Was yours like the guy picking up a phone call?
No, that's not. That was like just a story. Like, what's my pet
Okay.
peeve on a date? I can answer
You,
it.
yeah, and
should
you asked
know.
the question. You go.
Amanda's was when the guy was holding his phone
on
during
the
the
table,
date, phone
yeah.
on the table.
All And swiping.
Yeah, he was like swiping on a dating app while on the date, which is so
Definitely a
fucked.
Nick.
Yeah, like, hey guys, pro tip, don't do that.
Yeah.
Mine is eye contact
All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and just like mean to wait staff.
Okay, so prior to the podcast, Danny, how long had it been since Janice and Amanda had seen each other?
10 years.
Yep.
Wow.
10 years.
Mhm.
Yep.
Crazy.
Okay, so you asked Danny and Amanda, Janice, what the best compliment they could ever receive. What were those compliments?
That you're enough,
No.
right?
Like that was like kind of
That's
mine, but-
kind of
yeah.
Danny's.
Yeah, they
how
go-
she makes people feel
Yeah.
and her presence, and then Amanda's was anything about physical appearance.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to play one more game. And I
That was a fun like memory game. I feel like we're in school and we used to
Yeah,
like-
but that my age is showing.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
No, you did incredible. I think you only
Yeah.
got one wrong, and that
Okay.
is like
That's really good.
in our
Okay.
What game are you
track
playing?
record. Playing this or that. We're going to skip rapid fire.
Why? We could squeeze it in.
No, darling, we
All
can.
right.
It's called rapid fire for a reason.
Well, that's true. We'll see. Okay, so Janice, would you rather? So this or that is basically like a would you rather, but a dating version.
Okay.
So would you rather your daughter's partner be a hopeless romantic who constantly surprises her with grand gestures, or
Sign
someone
me
who
up.
shows their love through practical actions and consistency?
I'd probably like practical actions and consistency.
That would make you happier.
Yeah,
Yes,
that like turns me on
100%.
consistency.
Yeah.
Danny, would you rather have your mum be overly involved in your dating life or be
That's
completely
life.
hands off?
Hey.
I kind of want to say hands off. Well, that's not reality.
Okay, good.
Yeah, because you're not overly involved. Janice, would you rather have your daughter's partner be incredibly wealthy but very, very arrogant, or earn a pretty low income but
there.
they're extremely humble?
Oh God.
Can I take a little from A and a
Nah.
little from B?
That's why it's called this or that, babe.
Oh, that's so hard.
I know.
Mom.
I might go with the arrogant and wealthy and whip him in shape.
Janice was in the shape. I love it.
Whip him into
I might like have him get over himself.
Yeah.
Danny, would you rather your mum constantly compare your current partner to your ex's or constantly remind you of all of the mistakes you've ever made in all past relationships?
Remind me of all the mistakes I make. So I just be like, shut the fuck up.
That's where the NB comes out.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Like
NB5.
what? Like let's talk about your mistakes, Missy.
Yeah.
Okay, Janice, would you rather your daughter's partner be extremely attractive but not very smart, or be not most attractive but incredibly intelligent?
I would go with the smart.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Love
smart
that.
works.
Absolutely.
And attraction could build.
Right, you could always make them a little cuter.
So true.
Yeah. Just like put
You
them in a
can.
cute bomber jacket and call it a day.
Okay, so for both of you, would you rather go, obviously you're married, but like hypothetical, would you rather go on a first date where somebody talked non-stop about themselves or someone who didn't speak a word at all?
Non-stop about themselves.
And I would probably not a word because I would be just so turned off.
You want to know why? Because I talk so much. It's honestly refreshing when I'm not talking. Just to like listen. Sorry.
Absorb.
And I call those kind of people me, I. Like I'm just, talk about yourself a little, but then we're done.
Oh, Mimi, for a second I was like, what?
me, I.
I.
Like,
get
all
why
right,
you say
enough
me,
about
I.
Yeah, I had a friend.
Have your partner forget every birthday, or sorry, blah, blah. Have your partner forget your birthday every year, or have them remember it, but get a terrible gift each year. They never learn.
Remember, but get a
Yeah,
terrible
same.
gift. Because I think it's like nice that they're still giving a gift,
Even if
even if it
horrible.
sucks. Yeah.
I like that.
And then you just buy your own gift.
You return it and get
So
something you
smart.
like. Yeah. See, she's smart like that.
I buy my own gifts.
Yes.
Happy birthday to me.
I
do.
To me.
Yeah.
Last one. Would you rather have the ability to read your partner's mind or see into the future of your relationship?
Read my partner's mind.
See into the future. I find that a little exciting. Yeah.
Right?
Interesting. I so
Yeah.
disagree. How boring if you knew it was coming your way. Like if I knew like a month from now I'm meeting the love of my life, like that would give me anxiety.
Yeah, but I'm such a planner.
Yeah, it's
Like
true.
when you were a kid, I knew where you were going to camp. I knew I always knew the next steps.
Yeah, it's
so
true, I guess.
it would just kind of ease my mind. Like I would just, I'd
We're going to
really
get
listen.
rapid fire in. We're going to do it real
You
quick.
got 5 rapid fires.
Wolf, we're going to do it real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Hit it.
What are we
Rapid
doing?
fire.
Rapid
Ready?
fire questions.
I don't even
Okay.
know. Okay.
Just answer fast.
When do you feel happiest in your everyday life?
When I'm outside.
Oh, that's a good one. I was gonna say when I'm on a walk alone.
Yeah.
Okay. Does the amount of money a man makes matter to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is great. One thing on your bucket list.
Skydiving.
Crazy.
I don't know. I feel like I have everything I want.
One thing that you
Like
anything.
Getting another dog.
love
We're
that
gonna
for
make that
us.
happen for you. For
Yeah.
Sure. What inspires you most?
My friends.
Living life. My children.
Good
Okay.
answer.
Tell us about a time where you truly pushed yourself out of your comfort zone.
I think I do it every single day, the way I approach people and strangers and just feel very comfortable doing so.
And doing our podcast because I don't like pictures of me. I don't like
My girl.
video of me. I shy away from it, but
Love it.
here I am.
Yeah.
What never fails to make you laugh?
My mom.
And I was going to say my friends.
Offended.
Biggest risk you've ever taken?
I don't know. Shit.
Biggest risk. I guess I'm not really a risk taker.
Podcast.
Oh, podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
That's actually.
But I don't even look at it as a risk because I figured it would be good and fun.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the mindset you
confidence.
need.
So it was the wrong
Yeah.
word.
2 more. Something you wish you were better at dealing with.
I know your answer.
My mother?
Confrontation. That's kind of like what I
Okay.
was going to say
Yeah.
for
My mother.
you. I would say setting boundaries.
Okay.
love
What's your love language?
Physical touch.
Oh, we did that. I don't even know what my love languages anymore.
She wants all of
The
them.
other
You want
day.
gift giving.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants.
I
she wants gifts.
Like, I'll take
Yeah.
option 3, please.
I want a
Yeah.
little of everything.
Physical touch is my thing
Yep,
for sure.
yes.
Amazing.
I love
We
that.
did it.
Yay.
Incredible.
Tell the people.
Thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming on. Honestly, this is so wonderful. And
I want
know-
to do this all day.
seriously, I know Joe and I are just so excited for the future of Allowed to Ask and Fashion to Media in general. So, Can you please let the people know where to find you?
Yes. We are on Instagram, TikTok. Handle is Allowed to Ask. Produced by the wonderful First Rounds on Media, which is also your handle. And yeah, I'm so excited and so grateful for you guys. Thank you for having us here and obviously giving us the opportunity to have a platform to be reckless.
And it was a pleasure
appreciate it.
meeting you both.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
This is
way
just the
more than
beginning,
him.
Janice.
Yeah, this is just
You're
the
going to be
beginning.
I don't know if this is appropriate to say. This is where I don't say anything, but the mama First Rounds on.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could be the mama. The mama bear.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening. Subscribe. Happy dating. Listen to our past episode with Jack. And I don't know who our next episode is, but it'll
Throwing
be
it to the wind, my
out
darlings.
next. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank
Bye.
you guys.
Thank you, guys.